Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family? Welcome back once again to another daily Kaspa crypto live stream. And we are about to see Uptober in full force. Bitcoin earlier today made an insane surge all the way up to 123, almost 124,000 dollars, which is absolutely insane. Of course, we've seen a little bit of a pullback since then, but even equally right now, Bitcoin's sitting at $122,000, and there's still got so much more to come. I'm under the impression right now that as we have now surpassed 120k, which have not surpassed since August, and equally surpassing a key level of resistance here, that we are likely going towards this next significant leg up, this next rally, and October will be kick starting. And there's still so many more catalysts to come out in the next couple of months or so, leading towards the potential pinnacle of this bull run. So we are now in a very, very strong position. I mentioned this to my VIPs earlier. Something that actually me and our experienced trader C Crypto were speaking about in our executive roundtable on the weekend just gone. That we believe there's a strong possibility right now that we may see a very, very big rally, purely because we are in a strong position right now where there's the market right now, Bitcoin is at a very high point, and we're likely going to see, if it does close above mine's 122,000, that'll be a key catalyst that we've not actually ever closed at the end of the week above that level, and we'll start seeing that push upwards as well. Of course, time will tell, and I'll make sure to keep it all posted as time goes on. But we've got a very big stream today, of course, with Bitcoin showcasing a lot of good movement right now. Kaspa, on the other hand, is currently down 1.57%. So I'm very, very confident I'm going to get people tuning into the stream and talking about how that Kaspa is the only asset down today, or something along those lines, which is a reoccurring theme. And right now, I look at the sellers are trying to take control once again. Kaspa's down 1.60%, valued at 8.01 cents. But Kaspa, if it can hold above 8 cents, I'd like to believe again it's found its bottom, it's found its floor, hopefully, and therefore can start making that momentum upwards towards 9 cents, 10 cents, and blowing through the levels of resistance. Again, I still think Kaspa's got a lot more to show for it. And we've got some updates in this stream, some big updates regarding Kasplex as well. And additionally, some other important enough to get into. So as always, family, if you enjoy the content, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more, and turn on that post notification bell so you are not going to miss out on any future crypto Kaspa content. Welcome back, everybody, once again. Goes who first, as always. Welcome back, bro. You're doing very, very well. Kryptoni, there I am indeed. Welcome back, brother. Next level Cash, welcome back, my man. Donovan, let go, Kaspa, indeed. Why won't this goddamn project move? Yeah, honestly, it is a and I feel you, England based. I feel you. It is frustrating by all means. I believe that market makers right now are purposely suppressing Kaspa, but whether that be the actuality or not, it is a frustration. It's a frustrating thing, but I think it's again a temporary endeavor, if you will. I think it's not moving right now. People, of course, are frustrated. We've been hearing a lot of FUD, a lot of apparently some big content creators who've been selling off their Kaspa, and again, it's frustrating. You know, I can't not disagree with that. But I'll be getting to this post a little bit later on. This is Michael Sutton, of course, which kind of speaks to finality in regards to Kaspa comparatively to the other projects in this space. And you can take this in a sense of him saying that Kaspa is going to succeed based on this, but we'll get to that in a little bit in a moment. But it's a matter of being patient. Again, if you find it hard to hold Kaspa, I get it. You're not the first one, you won't be the last one. You've got to do what's right for you. If you want to sell your bags, that's up to you. I'm personally not selling my bags at all, but I'm not a financial advisor, so you've got to do your own research and decide what it is that's best for you. A lot of people right now have sold off Kaspa, which is understandable. If you look at the current holders for Kaspa right now, you can see the current holders right now for Kaspa, that you've got 545,000, and you're seeing again some inflows and some outflows coming through, predominantly more inflows than look at things right now. So evidently still a lot of adoption for Kaspa right now. It's just not correlating to a price pump. But right now, predominantly only Bitcoin is moving, which is for me an indication that the smart money is trying to pump the price, getting ready for this, significant move coming up. Considering that, there's still a lot more catalysts to come through. Welcome back, Falco. Bro, you're doing very, very well. Been holding 400,000 Kaspa. 400,000 Kaspa for a long time. Bitcoin nearing all-time highs. I'm only 60% down from hours. Yeah, you're right. But at the same time, look at many other projects in this space. Tau, similarly, is down about 60% or so. Sui, which is a much bigger asset in regards to current market cap, even then, that's still down about 30%. XRP, after making its all-time high earlier this year, is down about 16%. So XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are like the anomalies currently in the cycle due to their adoption and nature and whatnot. And again, ETFs not being far off being a big factor as well. Sui is down 30%. Say is down probably near more than 70%, I'd imagine. And that's an asset that everyone talks about. Yeah, 73%. You could look at Algorand, you could look at HBAR. So again, you've got to take it it's a matter of perspective, right? You're not wrong. Bitcoin's near all-time highs, but Kaspa's down 60%. But look at every other altcoin. From their local highs, may not be down as much, but from their all-time highs, which from the last cycles, most of them, they're also down 70, 80% or so. So just Kaspa's in that similar spot, just not as a battle-tested old asset. It's got its time still to come. Welcome, Weather. Hope you're doing very, very well, my man. Everyone is so impatient. It's literally been less than a year since all-time high. I mean, it's been a little over a year since Kaspa's all-time high. It's actually was August 1st, 2024. So it's about a year and 4 months, so about maths, 16 months. So it's a little bit over a year. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones, right? Again, it's the mentality of crypto. Because if you were in a stock, this wouldn't be too concerning at all for chart. Because stocks you typically hold for 5 whatever years. You hold for a long time with stocks normally, and you don't expect that many gains either. You expect maybe a 50% move, and that's lucky. This is obviously crypto where things are smaller, it's a lot more volatile. So you're expecting 25x's pretty much every day, and that's unfortunately the sickness that has come to crypto, driven by meme coins and driven by pump and dumps and whatnot. The space is maturing now with institutional adoption, so that narrative is shifting as well. And Kaspa, again, not being a VC-backed project, it is all done organically. It's just functioning, in my mind's eye, as how crypto and a project should function. It hasn't got somebody inflating the price, be it your Sui. I mean, Sui right now is not as old as Kaspa, but look at how high it is in comparison, because you've had VC and insiders pumping the project, doing buybacks, whatever it may be. I get it, but I mean, all the other projects are volatile and we either sit or dip. And again, it's the same argument. Again, again, if you're thinking comparatively as well, the other projects have VC back. If you're looking for quick gains, then you go to the other projects because they are VC backed. The VCs, the insiders will pump the price. Again, the risk comes with that they could use your extra liquidity. So you've got to be very, very careful. That's the problem with any project, but pretty much any project. I can't say bar Kaspa because there are situations where Kaspa will have similarities, but due to its proof of work nature and decentralized nature, the chance of it being rugged is significantly smaller. Nothing's impossible. If somebody manages to attain 50% of the supply, then yes, they could rug it, but otherwise then it won't happen. But with the proof of stakes, every crypto company, insider, whatever, they control the majority of supply, so they can just take it whenever you want. But again, in saying that, I do hold some of those projects because I'm willing to take the risk, and I'm willing to put a bit of trust that the team behind the project won't rug it. So at least I can make my investment and make my gains from it. But yeah, the volatility comes from VC backed. Like, I mean, look at Zebek, for example, one that I do currently hold and I think is going to do very, very well. And I'm going to make a video on that probably tomorrow, alongside some Kaspa content as well. But Zebek right now have been, moving quite a lot. It's a much smaller asset, $300-400 million market cap, but it's a lot more volatile, seeing some big pump and dumps continuously. It's not moving much right now, but it's also about a few days back. It completed I think it was a 16 million Zebek buyback, so about $60,000 buyback, which is just a way to kind of keep the supply smaller for the community, but it also means they control more of the supply. It does therefore make it more scarce and therefore increase demand for Zebek, but again, it makes it more centralized at the same time, so it's a give and a take. It's the same thing at every other project in this space. XRP, they have an escrow, they do an unlock every month, and then they don't even, I think that unlock, I think, is meant to be like, I can't remember how much they normally unlock. I think they unlock like maybe 1 billion XRP tokens every month, and then they always end up like taking a lot of it back anyway, so not the whole 1 billion is released to the market anyways. Every project has their own unique, and then there's things you see in, again, big corporation companies and stocks, like you'll see companies like Nvidia and Tesla, whatever, they'll do buybacks of their own shares. It's not uncommon to see, and that might also be a factor of how this space is maturing, where you're seeing the TradFi mechanism incorporated into crypto. The crypto premise was originally created to kind of get away from the whole centralized mechanism, if you will, that is banks and institutions that control the markets. Crypto must be an escape from that and the corrupt system we currently have, which actually we'll get into right now as well. So look on firstly here from KYC letter. We have now rate cuts into 2.9% inflation, which is PC inflation for the first time in 30 years. So we've got relatively high inflation apparently, and we're now cutting rates into that, which is, again, a little bit concerning, all things considering. We've got a rapidly deteriorating US labour market outlook, deficit spending running over $2 trillion per year, job reports suspended due to government shutdown, 2 more Fed cuts meant to be coming in 2025 into the stagflating economy, and over $100 billion per quarter in AI capex by the Mag 7. So the sentiment from this is we need to be owning assets, be it stocks, crypto, whatever it may be, or you'll be left behind holding fiat that is ultimately crumbling and falling right now, and we are in a broken system. There'll be no job report tomorrow, 2 weeks after the Fed cut rates due to a weak labour market. Job support will be indefinitely suspended until the government shutdown ends. We're 26 days away from the next Fed meeting, with tomorrow's suspended job report being the final one before the next meeting. So the Fed is cutting rates into rising inflation due to weak labour markets, but we can no longer receive key labour market data. So they're going to be going in blind unless the shutdown ends in time, but who knows if it will do. This is again a bit concerning, and again, just trying to attribute this to being our system is broken. The fact that we are seeing so much money printing going on right now, which is great for the markets, but inevitably going to be leading towards a massive catastrophe, because evidently the global economy is not stable at all, but they're printing more money. This is the problem with fiat. It's inevitably what happens every 80 to 100 years, the fourth turning. We're at that final stage now. Get ready for the big reset. The only thing that will save you is hard money. The only thing that will save you is a hard money fiat replacement. That's why they're now introducing stablecoins and crypto becoming the forefront of financial technology. Now, they aren't necessarily a fix. Stablecoins equally can just be printed out of thin air, but because it's what makes the smart money comfortable, and they know that's how they can basically continue doing what they're doing on a more innovative system. They've got stablecoins in the next driver, and I think there's still benefits to them. But hopefully in the future to be the realization that hard money is the only thing that can be the true savior, if you will, of the fiat system or just money system. You'll see assets which will come to light. Bitcoin, of course, is not scalable enough to do that. That's why we believe in Kaspa. Speaking of Kaspa Silver here also makes a good point in regard to where our current standing is. The government is shut down now because they cannot agree on how to keep printing money out of thin air. The reason the shutdown happened because they wanted to have an increase in the balance, the federal balance sheet, so they could end up, distributing that money to other departments or whatnot, and they couldn't come to an agreement. Hence, why the government is now shut down. That's the issue we have right now, which. All things considered, the market has reacted very well to that, which is, what typically happens in a shutdown. We are now again near all-time highs. We are only 3 days into the shutdown. Look at what Bitcoin has done in 3 days in the shutdown. We've seen almost a 10% rally in Bitcoin since the shutdown in 3 days. That is impressive for Bitcoin. And hopefully, therefore, we're going to quickly catch up to that M2 money supply, which suggests that we should be sitting in and around, 160k or so. towards the end of the year, or towards the towards the end of the year or so, again depending. The MT1 supply is still rallying more and more, so maybe it continues going up indefinitely until, again, the system completely collapses, but we'll have to wait and see. But at the same time, this is the problem with fiat, and this is why the shift, the turning is happening right now. Of course, in our belief, Kaspa is still running 24/7 with a max supply of 29 billion or 28.7, but there's some being locked up or burnt. Fully decentralized, censorship resistance, internet-like speed, proof of work. This is why we believe Kaspa is going to take over. Of course, these things do not happen overnight. They take a while, a long time. But I think Kaspa is not too late in the slightest. And we're seeing more and more of this understanding, or we're still in this definitive turning point for Kaspa, I believe. The reason why a lot of people right now are fading Kaspa is because of the price. I am yet to hear an actual logical, articulated reason as to why Kaspa is a bad asset, besides the price doing badly. Which again is a fair enough point to make. The price is not doing very well, but the only argument anybody's ever made about why Kaspa is not a good investment is because the price is bad. And like, oh, it's going to keep filling into nothing because the price is bad. Because there have been times where I thought maybe, and then it's been debunked. And you've got this post here from Zach O'Reilly, who's one of the most notorious crypto veterans in the space. Or someone who at least I know quite well, at least. Or I know of him quite well. And he made a post. Oh no, it was a posting to... Sorry, Zach O'Reilly reposted it. I apologize, not Zach O'Reilly himself. It was the man with a ball. Oh no, that is Zach O'Reilly. Oh no, okay, okay, there you go. So yeah, this individual here, Young Hoon Kim, who apparently has a IQ of 276. He's basically made a post talking about, you know, I mean, I didn't see the whole thing again because it's blocked, but evidently he made a post, and Zach O'Reilly replied here saying, if you are as high IQ as you claim, I'd like to see your opinions on Kaspa, and he ultimately deleted the post beforehand and then blocked Zach O'Reilly. So it was still very much at that definitive turning point. First they ignore you, then they fight you. Then they love you, then they fight you, then you win. We still got a lot of people who are lagging behind, I'd say, because they're still trying to ignore us. But at the same time, you're having a lot of Bitcoin maximalists who seem to be so obsessed with Kaspa. Be honest, did you get burnt by Kaspa? Look at the, tough in terms of Bitcoin. Most people probably spent 100 plus sats per coin, and it's only worth 66 sats now. Some poor people even bought at 400 sats in late 2023. Stop getting into any other coin that's not Bitcoin unless you want to keep losing Bitcoin. Again, it's the whole preaching of how Bitcoin is the ultimate asset, which again, it's been battle tested, it's got its history, it's got that first mover advantage, but it doesn't mean it's the best. And Zach O'Reilly again makes a post about this here. Well, Ethereum/Bitcoin has been going down only till recently. Ethereum always moves first to start the altcoin. Also, Kaspa went down as Bitcoin dominance went up, which is pretty standard for the first crypto cycle altcoin. Ethereum is actually making lower highs, which could suggest its time as number 2 is coming to an end, which I believe it is. I'm not sure it will be the cycle, but I do think that I think Ethereum could be overtaken by XRP, if I'm honest. And then it'll be overtaken by everything else, and then something else will probably rise above XRP and as time goes on as well. But I think XRP will probably overtake Ethereum in the next few years, if I was to hazard a guess, just purely based on the business model they have and the connections to the banks they have. If XRP is adopted in the way that they're preaching and attending it will be, then I think it will be number 2. But I think that's mainly because Ethereum, again, is just going to be continuous falling off. And again, it's Kaspa's first cycle, which in itself says there is not yet enough data to truly show where the true trajectory is ahead. So as we have a lack of date/time on a chart, we naturally look towards into fundamentals to get a graph or speculate where the technology is going. And the fundamentals shows us that it's got incredible security, scalability, decentralization, impossible solving the trilemma task, which another crypto can do. More stuff coming out, the ZK rollups, 6,000 Bitcoin. Again, it's the generic reply post that we make to attribute to why, again, Kaspa, people calling out Kaspa being a terrible asset. It is its first cycle. It's first cycle, and it can still go a lot higher as well. No one would have faded Kaspa here, but fading it now doesn't mean it's going to going towards a slow death. It just means that, again, with Bitcoin dominance starting to rise, every asset's bled. And again, you can look at the market. Yes, Kaspa's done badly. We can't disagree with that. But look at the market. Look at every other altcoin. Every other altcoin is down 50+% from their all-time highs, apart from some niche exceptions, be it Hyperliquid, be it Pump, be it Sui. And they're down. Some of them are up near all-time highs. Some of them are down like 30%. Hyperliquid real quick. Hyperliquid right now is at, so it's currently down, maybe 10%? Yeah, 10% from all-time highs, 15% from all-time highs. You've got Pump, which is equally down about 10-15%. So you've got some niche exceptions that have done very well in their first cycle, 20% here. Sui again down 30%. But otherwise, every other asset pretty much is down 50+%. Doesn't mean that therefore those are the winners and the rest are the losers. I think everything's going to pump this cycle. But it just means that these ones are just lagging behind. While pretty much all the investments right now are going into Bitcoin and now a bit more into Ethereum and XRP hovering up there as well. The big assets that have ETF filings or about to get ETF filings. And again, the reason why I stay true to Kaspa is due to what is, again, the people who are behind the project. Again, we know Son Polinsky. He's supposedly in the top 3 out of the top 10 most cited in the crypto space. Of course, I imagine that is a lot of us, the Kaspa community, who are citing Son Polinsky as well. That you can see here. Son Polinsky, Son Polinsky, Son Polinsky, Son Polinsky, Son Polinsky, Son Polinsky. He is quoted so much. He's cited so much in regards to, and even then more recently as well. You saw it with the Dagnite protocol. He is the third most quoted, cited crypto. I guess the developer out of the top 100, which again is a testament to who Son Polinsky is. And that's now my kind of tangent aside. This is where I want to get to the post of Michael Sutton, which I think is quite an important post, and again attributing to Kaspa and its future. The TLDR is finality has 2 moving parts: fast inclusion, high BPS, how quickly a transaction gets to a block, and fast confirmations, which is how quickly that transaction becomes irreversible. Any system with rapid block production can achieve the first. The second is where the tension shows. In proof of stake, fast confirmation press directly against centralization. In fast proof of work, the 2 properties are decoupled. So, in summary of what Michael Sutton's saying here, he made a long post about that. He basically saying, again, the argument between fast proof of work, between fast proof of stake. So to basically say, in the fast proof of stake, the speed, which is the fast finality, it doesn't work with decentralization, because confirming a transaction requires votes from a supermajority of staked economic weight. A true decentralized stake distribution makes coordination slower. So it's basically proof of stake uses a select then work model where the voters are already known and they can, do as they will. And it's similar to Ethereum, therefore, whereas fast proof of work, this is where you have a work then select process. So each confirmation provides a guarantee based on the full network economic weights, the hash power, as we know for proof of work. So in summary, again, to make it a bit more easier, fast proof of work enables both high speed and uncompromising decentralization, which proof of stake has just the speed without the centralization. I argue, therefore, that Michael Sutton's argument here is basically saying that if you can get a fast proof of work system that can compete with fast proof of stake, there's no reason to have a proof of stake. What's the reason to have a proof of stake system if you have a proof of work that is equally, if not faster? Let's just say they're equal speeds. You have the same exact premise, but one is decentralized, which is an added benefit that nothing else can truly have. That in and of itself, again, decentralization is something that is preached about a lot in this space, but understood not really. There's so many protocols that they say, we got our XRP ledger DeFi. Sure, maybe the inner workings is perceived as decentralized, a DeFi, but when you've got Ripple backing the whole thing, is not really decentralized. Ripple can have enough of a say, probably enough of the voting power to change it as they perceive to do it so. It's different for Kaspa. Very, very different. Kaspa's adoption continue to expand more and more. They're now seeing nodes finally going online in areas of Africa as well. The first two finally come online in South Africa as well. And we're seeing many, many more coming online as well, which is again showcasing the growth of Kaspa. Despite the lackluster price, people continue to grow more and more. And then we get into the Kasplex announcements, which is also part of the title here. Kasplex Layer 2 has crossed 100,000 transactions on Kaspa, which is a very, very big milestone. If you check out on Kaspalytics, it actually has shifted a little bit. Today it's got 16,000, which is, again, staying strong around 15, 16K. And if you check out the protocol activity and set it to 7 days, it's actually come down a bit. It's currently sitting at 92,000. But either way, that's quite a lot considering Kasplex has started to do really, really well. And it's still, again, just started off. Something else that I also saw when going through certain Telegram groups and whatnot is this post here from Kaspador, where he said that some centralized exchanges are already in the process of adding support for Kaspla, or Kasplex even. So it looks like Kasplex is going to have some form of connections to certain centralized exchanges. We don't know what the names are just yet, but that's, again, a very big announcement, which will increase the adoption into Kasplex, potentially therefore some more building taking place as well. And then there's also another announcement in regards to Kasplex as well, which touched on, this is also another video breakdown from Chris Hutchinson again regarding how to utilize the cap bridge, which I did speak about in the video that I made the other day, which is quite similar, but at the same time, they have not completed the audit just yet. So they do put a notice there. So just be very careful if you plan to use it. I know many projects right now are waiting for the audit to be done first before utilizing the cap bridge, which is just a safety precaution right now. But again, I think it's a good development. That was the announcement. Yes, I was speaking to somebody earlier. When I was speaking through, people in the community and whatnot, and it was just a food for thought. But a lot of us are aware right now about Kasplex, the dexes and whatnot, on top of it being Zealous, Kaspa.com, KSBR, KFC and whatnot. And while a lot of people are very much uncertain with Kasplex, which is understandable, of course, due to the lack of transparency, there's a valid argument. Again, whether you choose to trust them or not, it's up to you, but it's a valid argument as to potentially bridging over some of your assets to there. So what I'm planning on doing basically is I am yet to migrate or bridge any of my KRC to Kasplex to ERC, but I'm contemplating doing so to just add liquidity to the Kasplex layer 2. Because you've got to think about it. You only need to bridge. You got to think that there's you got the likes of Circle USDC, who probably has their eye right now on the layer 2 on Kasplex, because we have been seeing that the possibility of seeing these stablecoins on Kasplex soon enough. So if Circle are keeping an eye on the Kasplex layer 2, they're going to want to see liquidity coming in, and incentive therefore for them to leverage that and hopefully make good of their investment in the time to do so. So knowing that, and knowing that, again, you probably got other exchanges and whatnot also keeping an eye on it, then, if the Kasplex layer 2 is perceived as successful, that would incentivize them more so to get involved into the Kaspa ecosystem and maybe list a project as well. As not me, therefore, saying I'm going to put my whole bag into it, because again, there's a lack of transparency, and therefore, just for me, I want to be more, just be more precautious, or be more secure in myself. But I plan to put a bit in, just to add liquidity to the ecosystem, just to, again, potentially incentivize these other big names, the stablecoin issuers, Tether, Circle, whatever it may be, to look at the activity and be more willing to start getting involved as well. I'll get some questions real quickly, and then we'll get some more of the posts right now. There is some other stuff regarding the nature of the shutdown as well, which is the delaying of ETFs. I'll get into it in a moment as well. Before I do though, Thor Hammer, welcome back, bro. I think we'll be DCAing through January. That's all good, more for us. Yeah, possibly. I think there's arguments supporting both for and against about how long this stuff goes on for. Right now, the M2 supply again is still at all-time highs. And when you add the delay for how long that liquidity normally takes to come into crypto, that does suggest that we should be nearing, that all-time high peak, which I showed to 160K earlier. And that's going into like 2026 time. You can see the chart down here. Chart down here, 2026. That's where we're seeing that around here as well. So I still think that we maybe could be seeing continual momentum, but again, it really depends. We're also going to hit all-time high and then dip 9% for 3 years during the bear market and do nothing. Yeah, precisely true. Precisely true right now. That's what I mean. That most of these assets right now in the space are down significantly from their all-time highs. Kaspa is just acting differently. It's a unique asset. It's moving differently. And it's hard when you're in crypto because FUD is just such a loud thing and people are so much dependent on hype. They forget that, again, as CZ said, hype wins short-term, building wins long-term. Kaspa's building. This is a long-term vision. Descent through January. Run will be over by then. We have no confirmation of such just yet. I've showcased sources in my streams occasionally, but equally I've showcased sources to my VIPs that there's institutional sentiment that suggests that this cycle may extend into 2026. Again, we have to wait and see, playing it by ear. But there's enough sentiment to suggest it is a possibility. The catalyst for that would be ETF filings, it would be the M2 money supply, it'd be increasing regulatory adoption, and other elements as well that I have also disclosed in the past, like Swift. So it's a possibility it extends, but we have to wait and see. Good evening, guys. You're doing very, very well. Welcome to my man. I'm mining as well. Let's go. Hey, good stuff to hear, England. No New England capital runs on its own cycle and does not follow the rest of the market. I mean, that could also be a case. Who knows? It needs another big listing. I mean, it would definitely pump the price. Yeah, that's all I can say to it, really. I wouldn't say need is the right word because it makes it sound like Kaspa's dependent on them. And for price rallying, probably, but I think Kaspa has enough community incentives to be independent of listings. And without any listings, it's just shaking out a lot of the paper handlers right now. Those who just are purely in for the pump and dub and not here for the actual project, which again, you're going to see them no matter where you go. And of course, we are here to make money. So I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, we don't need listings at all. It'd be great if we got some, but we'd be like, it's... The argument to that is very, very simple. Kaspa is a fair launch community founder project. If you want listings, you need to round up the community to do a crowdfund, to then pay for an exchange listing. No one's going to pay it for you. The exchange is either going to list when they're ready, which is what I believe they're going to do anyway. When they're ready, they're going to list a project. Or if you want a listing ASAP, you raise the funds with the community, do a crowdfund, and list it yourself. Because Kaspa's a community fund is not, you're going to see, Tom Polinsky's not going to do that. Mark Sutton's not going to do that. Wolf Fee, while he is the business developer, or head of listing, like he's self-proclaimed. He's taken that role, but he's not official listing guy. Because there is no official member for Kaspa. He's the one who's taken that role. Anybody can do that. So if you want listings, you've got to, I guess, make the move yourself, Who's 60-jet Kaspa holder here? Not me. Thanks report from the nodes. Transaction report from the nodes were very impressive this week. Just wish we could see it in the wallet. This is still my favorite project of all time. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm no doubt for sure that this is your favorite project of all time. And those who have been in Kaspa, again, the only argument is the price. But as a project in itself, it is by far and away the strongest in the space. Very, very innovative. So I'm not surprised that the belief in the project, and hopefully it will end up playing out very, very well, very, very soon. Why did that not go through? Okay, I need to double check that. I'm trying to be at least a chart within Kaspa. Hopefully you see it very, very soon. I've got 400 on Kaspa. Big stuff, England. I've got enough, I'd say. Well, I'm trying to get more still. Keep stacking 4, man. You'll get there, I'm sure. Let's skip the talk about price, please. There's so much more to talk about. Yeah, very, very true. So let's get into that stuff right now then. So we've gone through a lot of the stuff already here about the current standing of the economy and the government shutdown, about obviously how Kaspa should replace that, how you're seeing supposedly people with high IQs kind of ignoring the Kaspa community because it cannot give an answer, or they refuse to give an answer, whatever it may be. Bitcoin is again just trying to say how Kaspa's going to fall off because its price is doing badly, and again Kaspa is more than just that. Fundamentally very, very sound. So Polinsky again being the third most cited in the industry is insane. So evidently this guy's got his accolades, his stars, people who know Tom Polinsky very, very well. Think about the Ethereum project, the Polkadot project, the even I think XRP project, David Schwartz. All of these people have quoted Tom Polinsky. So evidently he is known. And he's the one who's behind Kaspa. And that in itself should be a vote of confidence. Mark Sutton making a post here talking about basically how fast proof of works will outdo fast proof of stake because they have decentralization on top of that as well. the nodes, we've gone through that as well. The Kasplex milestones we've been seeing as well. And again, how big this should be connected to centralized exchanges coming through very, very soon. We've got the video tutorial here, and then we got this clip as well, which again, I'm going to watch through this later on myself and make a summary of it. But basically, it's XSIM and Kit once more doing another interview with Igra Labs. So I've got the other smart contract protocol coming to Kaspa, which is, great stuff here behind the scenes on the centralized node, attesters, and canonical bridging. So they sat down and basically spoke about for trusted systems, how attesters ensure liveness without compromising security here. So they spoke about decentralization deep dive. So why Igra Labs prioritize trustless nodes over centralized on control, which is inspired by Vitalik's principles based on architecture. Node runner spotlight, validators, bridges breakdown, canonical entry is for native Kaspa, ICAS, trusted EVM bridge for liquidity and whatnot. ICAS use case beyond just gas, lending protocols and borrowing stables while holding Kaspa, which is something that is very important in the DeFi system. And then also the scaling and timelessness, horizontal scaling via nodes. Version 2 client coming soon. Closed mainnet by the end of the year, and there'll be an open public mainnet in Q1 2026. So Igra again cooking. I'll be again going through that in a lot more detail and give a summary probably maybe Sunday, maybe Monday, once I get through watching the stream, and let everybody know the generic TLDR, what was mentioned in the stream, and the big stuff coming in regards to Igra as well, and in regard to Kaspa as well. In regards to the crypto space as well, again, the government shut down. While causing the whole ecosystem start rallying right now, it has got the double-edged sword effect coming back on that as well. So as Elena Terra understands now, the shutdown has affected ETF finance like the Litecoin, for example, because the SEC still needs to sign off on an S1, and the agency is operating on a skeleton crew right now because of the shutdown. They've got no one there. A lot of people may be redundant. It's unclear what remaining staff is working / what their priorities are at the moment, since the generic listing standard went into effect, and the agency asked issuers and partner exchanges to withdraw their 19Bs/4s. I'm told the deadline technically no longer matters. And she made an article about this here as well, just saying basically regarding to the shutdown right now, where the SEC have made a new new rule where they now don't have to go through the whole long-winded process to get ETF funding, which is great. It means that things can technically come through a lot sooner as well. The repercussion is now with the shutdown, they have got less of a crew, therefore it's going to probably be delayed a little bit longer as well. That just means the catalyst for ETF filings for altcoins will happen later. And if it ends up happening going into December time, or let's say even November time, happens later, that would, again, inject more liquidity from ETFs for institutions to pump into ETFs and send the cycle higher, altcoins higher, and equally potentially going on for a little bit longer as well. The government shutdown has slowed operations across multiple federal agencies, including the SEC. During the shutdown, regulators can still act on fraud and market emergencies, but routine work slows, IPO, ETFs, and other filings may be delayed. Rulemaking may pause, and non-essential staff are often furloughed. And Eric Bolchner here, senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg, said that it's like a rain delay, like it's going to come through inevitably, like the rain coming through. It's like a storm cloud holding all the rain right now. It's about to just burst and just let all the rain start piling down. It'll take a little bit of time, of course, but that is another unfortunate consequence of the shutdown, but alongside, again, lack of job report data and whatnot. But it does, again, leave more to be desired and to come through. And again, Bitcoin's reacted very positively off that as well. I'm assuming it's based on the belief that, again, after a shutdown, typically speaking, the market always end a lot higher. The shutdown started here. So Bitcoin's at 114K off the shutdown. And Bitcoin's now rallying. So, and again, if history repeats itself, typically speaking, 1 year after a shutdown, I think from what I saw, it's 86%, at least for the SP 500 for the stock market, on 86% of cases, 1 year after a shutdown starts, it ends higher by like 18% or so. When the shutdown with Trump happened back in 2018, 35-day shutdown, the SP 500, and I think it was 13% above. 30% above a year afterwards, which I think might have been... Actually, when exactly was the shutdown from Trump? Trump shut down 2018. December 2018. So yeah, it was here. December 2018 was here. So it was around here. And then a year later, we're looking at December again, which puts us here. So yeah, that's what we saw 1 year after the shutdown. So again, and that's happened, and that sort of consequence, if you will, that sort of repercussion after a shutdown happens 86% of the time. So quite commonly, the markets will finish higher. So in that regard, therefore, you can see potentially from this current moment, stock market again finishing maybe 10-15% up higher than it currently is a year from now, which would be quite, I mean, again, it's quite a ways away, but that's quite a feat at the same time. So if that's the case, what would you see for Bitcoin as well? Being an asset that's also growing and also knowing the stock market eventually will be coming on-chain, onto blockchain. Bitcoin again start 114K. We see Bitcoin higher in a year from now as well. Just a food for thought again. Would it be higher could it be going all the way up, come back down here, but actually finish around here a year from now? Would it finish here? Would it go up higher? Who knows? But again, it's something to take into account that the shutdown and also the Fed normally act very, very dovish after a shutdown as well. So it means that we should be seeing a lot more rate cuts, a lot more liquidity pumping into the markets, which is also great for Bitcoin and crypto as well. You can't rug Kaspa. Even if you rug 50% of the 50% of the value would still be there with the other holders. There are no liquidity pools to rig Kaspa to zero. I mean, yes, there's no liquidity pools. I think there is always a possibility to rug a project. Of course, Kaspa is a unique scenario, but in the premise that, let's just say somebody did own 50% and decided to dump it all, if at all possible, like sell it all off to the exchanges and whatnot, that would significantly outweigh the supply versus demand. And that in of itself could cause a massive fall off. And to those who don't, because at that point, I mean, let's just say for like much of us are here now because we believe in capital long term, but let's just say that the people are only there for the price. They see a 50% fall off. Well, it wouldn't be necessarily correlating to a 50% fall off in price, but you saw a massive fall off in price that could shake a lot of holders. I mean, you've seen that multiple times already of Kaspa. I don't think impossible is the right word I'd use, and then, unless you have, again, sources or mathematical evidence to prove me otherwise, but I don't think anything's impossible. It's just significantly unlikely. Relax Apple did nothing for 25 years. Bitcoin did nothing for the first few years. And Kaspa is what Bitcoin was intended to be, but Bitcoin has failed. Patience. Pretty much October. You know, think about the internet. The internet was created back in 1983. And for 17, 18, 20 years, did nothing. Actually, it was 17 years because then the dot-com bubble happened. So created in 1983, and back in year 2000 when the dot-com bubble happened, Forbes were calling it a failure. And then it exploded. So the internet, the whole thing that we're listening to the stream right now, took 17 years to actually catch wind. Bitcoin is where it's at right now in 17 years. It just takes some time. But Kaspa was the fastest growing asset to reach a $1 billion market cap. It'll be the fastest to reach 1 trillion as well, I'm sure. BNB is the anomaly, climbed up forever. I mean, there are a lot of assets right now that are anomalies. You can look at BNB and see. BNB right now, again, absolutely soaring right now. Doing very well on BNB, but you got many assets that have done similar things. Pump was doing that literally a few weeks back. Hyperliquid, similar. Sui was doing that not too long ago as well. Every asset has their own unique pump. But again, these pumps come off the back of, again, the VCs and people who support behind the scenes who are just able to inflate the price. I mean, again, BNB is up 8-10% today. That's ridiculous. BNB is not a small asset either. It's in that $162 billion market. $1 billion market cap. It's a very big asset. It's just behind Tether by a small bit. Not that far behind XRP either. Welcome back, Double D. Budgeting very, very well, my man. The brave will go to Crypto Valhalla, or rather Cash Halla. I completely agree. Welcome back, Mr. Miles. Budgeting very, very well, my man. Why is this clown not added to my block list? I don't know, man. I just ignore it. When are the stablecoins coming? This is how we get adoption and price gains without Tier 1 listings. The question of stablecoins, we don't know. We have no confirmation of when stablecoins are coming through. The point that I made earlier when talking about the Kasplex updates is we understand that Circle have been talking to Kasplex. According to Johnny, Circle are talking to Kasplex and KEF. So they're currently, likely therefore, they're viewing and monitoring the layer 2. So if that's the case, they're monitoring the layer 2, they want to see activity on it. So the point that I was making to my community earlier is if Circle does plan to integrate and bridge onto Kasplex, and then they've got that on the layer 2, they're going to probably want to see some activity. Right now, again, the activity for Kasplex is not doing too badly. We're seeing consistent, every single day right now, we're seeing consistent, 15k average, I'd say. Right now it's at 17k, which is good. We're seeing on average 15k a day, a 24-hour span. In the last week, we've been seeing near 100,000, so that's quite impressive. Of course, it could be a lot higher, but Kaspa's still a very early project. But it's just seeing a lot more liquidity in the ecosystem, in the pools. It's just seeing a lot more activity that would incentivize the likes of Circle and Tether and others to jump on board sooner than later. I heard that Kaspa apparently is talking to Tether, which would be quite a big feat if true. That's again why I was saying that I am potentially considering just putting a little bit of capital of my KRCs into Kasplex just to add liquidity to the stuff. I don't plan to put a lot of it in, but just enough. Because again, I'm just being a bit cautious. That's all. Welcome up, Devious Me, bro. You're doing very, very well, brother. Welcome back, Magnus, as well. Welcome back, my man. Someone start a donation pool to list on Binance and let's get into Hagir. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. Again, I don't particularly think that's the right idea. The reason why I say that is because while, of course, a Binance listing would be big and definitely pump the price and cause a lot of FOMO, you've got to think about it. The only exchange, that Kaspa's given money to for a listing is MEXC. MEXC is the biggest manipulator of Kaspa's price. And the reason why is because they don't care. I mean, all exchanges manipulate the Kaspa. All exchanges probably have some form of manipulation going on right now. That's what they do. But MEXC is the biggest one doing so. And why wouldn't they? Don't care. They got paid for a listing. They have no desire to make more money in that regard of Kaspa or make Kaspa do really, really well. And Binance are the biggest exchange. They have the most manipulation of any exchange. So if you were to pay for a Binance listing, you see manipulation of MEXC increase tenfold. You make it even worse for suppression of Kaspa. So I understand the sentiment of wanting a Binance listing. I think Binance will list in due time. But if you want to do a crowdfund and get everyone to, try and support it, I mean, I think we did try and do that in the past. I think there was a crowdfund to try and get it and nobody gave their Kaspa up. Understandably, because no one wants to give it up right now. If you can convince people to do it, then they'll do it. But again, it's a tough feat. And I also think Binance is someone who probably wouldn't want just Kaspa. They also probably want, Tether as well. Welcome back, Buffalo. You're doing very, very well. Sorry I'm late to get notification. That's all good, brother. Welcome back to the stream, my man. KRC 20 sure is active today in terms of transactions. I wonder what's going on there. Yeah, to be fair, it's been like that for quite some time now. I think it's probably because a lot of the admins of the KRC 20 project are bridging over to Kasplex. If that does line up and make sense. But you're seeing right now in the last 7 days, you're seeing 4.2 million transactions. The last day, you're seeing a total of 1 million transactions. So you're a lot on KRC 20. You look at KRC 20 right now, you can see what's happening on the space right now in this regard. You're seeing Zero moving down 40%, Natural up 19%, Slow up 45%. You're seeing KDAO up 154%. You're seeing a lot of movement today, actually. A lot of movement today happening right now. But, I think it's mainly driven, though, by TB die. I'm not entirely sure what this is. I have no idea what this is. All I know is that it's got a $29 trillion market cap somehow, which doesn't make sense. It's valued at 10 cents. That's what it currently looks like in the chart. But they just do an unholy amount of transactions. They're look at this, had all these transactions all going through at the same time, pretty much. I don't exactly know what this is here, but this seems to be the main driver for transactions. I need to figure it out more. So I think someone told me about it, but I just don't know. It looks odd to me. I'd argue it looks dodgy to me. See, a 29 trillion market cap, and this is the one that's driving all the liquidity, and then you can't even see it here. I don't know. It's weird, but that's why there's so much transaction happening right now. Look, the volume's there. No volume, high market cap, but there's a stupid amount of transactions going through right now, and it's mainly being driven by this project here. That's why they're seeing millions going through right now. Don't know what is going on with that, to be honest. And yeah, I mean that's also likely true. It makes sense to that that Binance, after knowing Kaspa and been working with Kaspa since 2023 December, they have got enough to launch the project. It's just not in their best interest right now to do so, and we'll see if and when that changes. When Igor Dagonite VProg, things will change in the crypto landscape. We are still early. Keep stacking. Capital moves on its own time. Octo Plus with the €20 donation. Oh my days, thank you very much for that. Not even a question in that as well, just out of your kindness of your heart. Thank you very much for your generosity. I'll say as I always do, because I don't know how to apply. I will keep up doing what I'm doing. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, again, I believe that our conviction to Kaspa will play off very, very well in due time. Of course, it's been a long haul. I'm happy to see that you all continue to support the channel and believe in the project despite the tough times. And again, your generosity is massively appreciated. I thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much, my man. And maybe next time I'll ask a question so I know kind of how to transition from here. Like, I'm so flustered again. That logic isn't sound. If they didn't care, they wouldn't bother to manipulate it. They are manipulating it because they know that they will be the biggest player in the game because of Kaspa. I mean that is also a logically sound argument, that they're manipulating Kaspa right now because they know it's going to be big. Therefore, they're trying to accumulate as much as possible to, be positioned accordingly for when it does take off, or they're trying to suppress it before it takes off because they know it's inevitable. Kaspa had to be manipulated to the downside so that exchanges could get in due to its fair launch. If technology is worth the accumulation, be patient, people. I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. Kaspa is definitely worth it. So you think about the technology again, and you think again, you think exchanges don't know about this as well. Hassan Polinsky, the one who was there at Bitcoin in the early days as well, who has created something that is like the inception of crypto is, Bitcoin is crypto. Bitcoin is the creation of crypto. And the industry has evolved a lot more since then. But the whole premise of Ethereum, the second asset to come out, they tried to do what Bitcoin did, but they didn't think it was possible. So they went to proof of stake, and everything else just followed in suit pretty much after that. Kaspa is the only asset that has actually been able to stay true to the original ethos of Bitcoin and crypto and achieve what these other proof of stakes are trying to do as well, which is just getting fast speed. But to be decentralized, that in itself is what crypto is meant to be, which is therefore the future of money. The future the fiat system is broken right now. Government shutdown happening because they can't agree how to print money. The only thing that fixes that is hard money, which should be right now the only asset that it can be truly attributed to being hard money is Kaspa, because hard money is something that cannot be manipulated. Kaspa, it cannot be created out of thin air. Every proof of stake can be created out of thin air. Bitcoin just hasn't got the scalability to be utilized for a moving exchange. Kaspa is the only one that fits the criteria. It takes a time to get adopted, but it comes through. It's just, again, I think it's a crying shame that a lot of people bought into the FOMO and hyper Kaspa back here. And that's not me trying to throw any digs or shade or whatever like that, but it's just an unfortunate consequence, because therefore people got into this, and then you had certain content creators who are, endorsing Kaspa and whatnot, who was saying, $10 Kaspa easy this cycle. And while I'm not going to give type predictions and whatnot, that in itself completely warped the mentality and mindset of holders, thinking it's going to be a guaranteed, 20 whatever easy X from here. While nothing's guaranteed, it is that those people who spoke of Kaspa and that mentality were under the inception that Kaspa is different, but also the same with other project. It's different as an asset in regards to its foundation and its tokenomics, but it's in that regard, therefore, it's also different because it's not got somebody to pump that price up continuously. I go back to again that CG post when he was talking about the price has the potential to go to $5 a cycle if you had listings. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, but again, you got to understand that the devs are not inclined to pay for a listing. They haven't got the capital to pay for a listing. They are devs. They aren't CEOs. The mindset that everyone has in crypto is that, it's a crypto company. It's not a crypto company. Say a proof of work fair launch coin like Octospace is not revolutionary, not worth the time and effort. Octospace is a difficult one, because Octospace is something that I think has potential. The problem is, again, it's just so small and lacks really any listings. I'm not worried about Kaspa in that because Kaspa does have listings. While not the big ones like Binance and Coinbase and OKX, it has got big listings in regards to Bit, getting a Kraken, and it's seemingly talking to other exchanges anyway, so they do know of Kaspa. But yeah, Octopay just has little to none. It's like MEXC, Gate, and KuCoin, I think, and that's it. And even then, like that's all it has really to talk about. So Octa is in a much harder spot, but that's also why I think they're leveraging Kaspa to get that pedestal up. If Kaspa could take off, that also help Octa as well. I suspect Binance are going to leverage the Kaspa technology directly onto the exchange. Well, it makes sense. I'm not against that idea either, because you think about the fact that, again, you heard from Wolfie months back now. I'm not sure how far back it was. You heard from Wolfie about how the Binance team are constantly actively engaging in conversation with the Kaspa quote-unquote tech team, the devs and whatnot, to find out how the technology works. So they're talking about it. So why would you do that? It can't be that hard to onboard just for a just to get a spot listed. Because you think about Kraken did it, MEXC has done it. All these exchanges right now that have done it, 10 BPS Kaspa. So it's not 10 BPS being the hurdle, the roadblock for Binance, but it still reaches in Kaspa. So there must be some other reason why they need to know more about the tech, because they know about it enough, and they would have done their audits and found. And there's no way it's taken them since May 5th, since 10 BPS, May 5th, so almost 5. It's only taken them 5 months to. I mean, again, Kaspa's very new technology. It's not easy to understand, but I don't believe it's taken them 5 months to realize 10 BPS is perfectly fine and not a risk. So I think they're trying to learn more about the tech. So they probably find a way to shift their whole exchange onto the protocol. I think it would be a safer mechanism for everybody. They're taking too long to list, and they're asking far too many technical questions for a simple event. That's what I believe as well. I think it's going to be a bit of both. What's the old expression? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah, honestly. 1 or 2.4 million, if you notice. They are only buying less than 10% of the volume, which it does move the price significantly. The market maker or off market exchange. I mean, yeah, they have been buying it off, but they have been buying it off exchanges. It does tend to move. We did see them buy at 40 odd million, I think it was yesterday, which did move the price a bit. Again, this exchange is still stacking more and more and more. This wallet is stacking more and more and more. So if they continue to stack more like that, I mean, you look at the wallet right now. Where is it? There. That's the wallet it's holding right now. 945 million Kaspa. It's been stacking since March 2024. And it's sold, I think, on 2 occasions. It's more a small amount to then just buy back again. So yeah, there's something cooking, definitely. Something's definitely cooking. Anyways, with that being said, though, family, that does actually conclude today's Kaspa and crypto live stream. I mean, you're not going to see exchange manipulate the Octa to get in. True, they can just get in very, very cheap. But Octa's price is very, very low, so I think Octa needs some listings. I don't think listings are be all and end all, but I think listings are a necessity to get some form of adoption. Kaspa has enough listings for me to get adoption. Of course, more the merrier. Again, if it's Binance in particular, but Octa has so little that it's just basically near impossible for it to actually move at all. We'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm optimistic. I'm not holding the Octa, but I might end up putting a small bag into it as a precaution just in case, because I think, again, the technology behind it is really, really good. And if it leverages Kaspa, it could end up benefiting that project as well. But that being said, family, if you enjoyed, as always, leave a like, share, and subscribe for more. Kasplex is it's been doing quite well right now, all things considered. Again, the fees aren't the most appealing, you know. Oh, great to hear, Albie. I mean, yeah, I plan to probably scoop up some more at some point in the future as well, in all honesty. You can see Kasplex right now is cooking, though. Shadows are going up a little bit by bit. Of course, the fees aren't necessarily reflecting that, but again, I think it's just early doors that will hopefully it be a non-issue later on, or be fixed, whatever it may be. Government shutdown, double-edged sword. ETF fund is going to be delayed, but at the same time, the markets are running right now. But I think Bitcoin, again, hopefully is on the cusp of starting Uptober. And Kaspa, while down right now, I think Kaspa's going to start following the suit when the dominance falls off. Again, dominance right now is quite high. Once the dominance falls off, then you'll see altcoins start to go like crazy. How do we know that's on Polinsky? It's fine. It's not going to start a new coin since he started Ghost in ETH. It's a good question. Sompolinsky was originally there and like in the inception of Bitcoin, and he was one putting forward the idea of a block DAG, which Bitcoiners were against because they just were against it. The Ghost protocol, something he kind of created with Zohar, and Vitalik Buterin took inspiration from that to create his own Ghost DAG derivative, or his Ghost protocol derivative. And it's the same thing with many other projects. Cardano, you heard Charles Hockerson praise Phantom and Spectre protocol. Sompolinsky and Viv Zohar was there in creating that as well. Kaspa, he's very much still creating Kaspa, and to Sompolinsky, from what we've heard, the Phantom Spectre Ghost protocols, those are his babies. He's still trying to make DAG Knight as well. So it's concerning, I guess. It's a definitely valid question. My belief, based on everything I've seen, is that there's not enough incentive for him to do so, because he is the one currently where he tried to put his ideas forward to Bitcoin and they said no. He's made Kaspa because Bitcoin said no. And he's been doing this, he's been waiting for a while. And he's done it now. They tried to release Kaspa in 2018, but it wasn't ready, so they waited to 2021. And now you've got Kaspa out. I don't really see why Sompolinsky would create a new project unless he wanted to create a new protocol that people didn't align with, but he thought it was necessary for him to do so. So therefore, I'm going to go and do it then. But I don't think that. I think right now the developers in this space for Kaspa, the core devs, are very much aligned with tackling tough tasks and are open-minded to try and do new things. And again, he understands it's a community project. The only way I see Sompolinsky making a new coin if he thought, I want to release this new protocol, and the community incentive or the devs were like, yeah, we're not doing that. That might be the reason, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Right now, they're all in alignment about what's going to be built for Kaspa right now. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if you do, yeah, Kaspa right now, it's his life work. It is life work, so it's unlikely. Can Kaspa ETFs as well? Yes, it can. It can get ETFs, definitely. It's got an ETP right now of Valor Funds, so European ETP. It can get ETS. Johnny did mention about it a while back that ETS are possible. It's just not come to fruition just yet. We'll have to see where that goes though. Has you forgiven the US yet for revolting against the crown? No, I haven't forgiven you at all. No, just for you, Mr. Moss. The US is fine. Haven't forgiven you. You're the reason. That being said, family, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. If you want to know more about crypto and Kaspa, check out my free community here. Shooting in a lot more, providing a lot of information in there as well. Links down below in the description on my homepage here as well, and being more locked in here with the VIP, covering alpha documents and whatnot, getting ahead of the game, preparing for this next leg up. We're looking at other assets as well that we think got some big momentum and possibilities in the coming months. That would be insane. That would be insane, no doubt. Kaspa would absolutely rip that out of the case. It's one that would be a FOMO candle and then some. The planet we're running on Kaspa node. But you're going to have a node in space, so that would be cool. Are you sad that freedom of speech is dead in the UK? Yes, every day. Every day. I'm going to leave the country when I can. But yes, thank you all for tuning in once more, family. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the donations. You all are brilliant. Have a great day. Good night, family. And I will see you all